Hey guys, what's up? Excoundrel here, and welcome to my video looking at all of the snipers in Rules of Survival. Apologies I haven't produced a video in the last few days. I've been away casting the European Masters for League of Legends. It's a Riot event. If you want to follow more about what I'm doing outside of YouTube, please go to my Twitter and give me a follow. I'm an esports caster, and I do more than just Vainglory, so currently covering League of Legends. Right, let's get right into it and have a look at all of the different snipers. There are 6 main snipers in Rules of Survival. The bolt action snipers, the AWM, the M110 and the Barrett. There is the 2 semi-automatic rifles, which is the SVD and the QBU-88. And there is a hybrid between an assault rifle and a sniper rifle called the AS-Val. I think most people would call this a marksman rifle. People kind of will say this is not a sniper, but it has sniper ammo and takes sniper ammo in the main game, so we're going to include that in the list of snipers, and we're going to cover that at the end as well. In this video, I will tell you about the damage, I will tell you about the attachments, the scopes, and we'll talk a little bit about generally the use of them and sort of my personal opinion on the weapons themselves. Right, let's jump straight into it, and the first Rules of Survival sniper that we're going to take a look at is the AWM. This is your standard Gili Island bolt action rifle. You can find this anywhere on the map. It is not a crate specific drop. It can have any attachment, which includes scope, mag, cheek pad, and a front end attachment like a compensator, a silencer, or a flash hider. None of the snipers in Rules of Survival have drop-off damage, which means the further that you shoot, the less damage it does. All snipers deal the same damage at every single distance. It comes with a default scope, which is a 4x scope, so you don't need to attach anything below a 4x to it unless you want to, for some reason, short-range no-scope people. And you can effectively fire 1 bullet every 2 seconds. This is because every time you fire a bullet, it pulls you out of your sights, and you have to reset, which is why recoil doesn't mean as much when it comes to the bolt-action sniper rifles. It deals 210 damage to the head at 0 armor, 84 damage to the body at 0 armor, and 84 damage to the limbs at all times. That damage scales down to 94 to the head when you have a level 3 helmet, and 37 to the body when you're going up against level 3 armor. 94 to the head means it is not a one-shot kill to the head at level 3 armor, but it is a one-shot kill to the head at everything below that, and it is never a one-shot kill to the body or the legs. Moving on to its equivalent, the one that was released with the Fearless Fjord, this is the M110. It has exactly the same damage ranges as the AWM, it can take the same attachments, and pretty much is exactly the same gun. A little bit like the ARC was the same gun in comparison to the AR-15. This is basically the same as the AWM, but just released onto the Fearless Fjord, so there aren't really that many differences to talk about. The damage is the same, 210 to the head, 84 to the body, 84 to the limbs, and that scales down to 94 and 37. If you're interested in learning a little bit more in depth about these weapons individually, I found a Rules of Survival official channel, the Vietnamese channel, where they actually publish all of the damage stats for the weapons, including how they scale up and down versus damage. And I will link that in the description below. So well done, Vietnamese Rules of Survival channel. You've got some great stuff on there, and you've really helped me out. So yeah, like I said, the M110 is essentially the same gun as the AWM. From an anecdotal standpoint, I've always found that it's a bit more responsive in its shots. So I've always preferred to use this over using the AWM because I've never got on with the AWM personally. But it for all intents and purposes, statistically, it's pretty much the same gun. Alright, we're going to move on now to another bolt-action sniper rifle. This one only available in military drop crates. This is the Barrett, the one-shot kill machine. Attachments-wise, similar to the AWM. No drop-off damage, like I said. It comes with a default scope, but it's only a 2x, so you need to attach either a 4x or an 8x to it to increase that range. It is an absolute machine when it comes to damage. The only thing that will stop it from one-shot killing you is level 2 or level 3 body armor. Everything else will kill you. It deals 132 damage to the limbs, so that's a one-shot kill to the limbs. It deals 330 to the head at 0 armor, which is massive overkill, all the way down to 148 at level 3 helmet. So level 3 helmet won't even protect you against a headshot for this weapon. The best thing defense you're going to get is level 3 or level 2 body armor versus the Barrett. It is a monster when it comes to killing. It's one of my favorite weapons. If you get this in a game, especially a solo, anytime you see someone, you just pop them and they die. It is a very, very strong weapon. One of the best rules of survival snipers there is, but obviously you need to hit that first shot. The important thing about these bolt actions, especially on the iPad compared to the PC, is that it's quite difficult to land it on moving targets correctly, and using bolt action snipers on non-static targets is difficult to make work on the iPad. However, the PC version, absolutely more accuracy. You can make the bolt actions work a lot better. We're going to look now at the first of the semi-automatic sniper rifles, the SVD. It can take lots of attachments, like we can see here, all the way through. You can go from the front end to the scope, the mag, and the cheek pad. It deals 148 damage to the head with no body armor, and obviously scales down to 66. I believe it is a one-shot kill if you've got a level 1 helmet, but otherwise everything else is not. The default scope that it comes with is a holographic sight, which means you need to upgrade it as quickly as possible, because I hate the holographic sight personally. And the fire rate is 0.4 seconds, which means it fires one bullet every 0.4 seconds. And you can spam it in scope as well. Every time you use a shot with the SVD or a semi-automatic sniper rifle in general, you can stay in the scope, which is really important to note. The SVD is, like I said, semi-automatic, 10 bullets per clip compared to the 5 of the bolt-action sniper rifles, and that can be increased up to 20 with an extended mag. It makes it a very powerful tool, especially on the iPad. I will always take the SVD or a phone, the SVD over the AWM, simply because it gives you a lot more flexibility in firing and dealing with moving targets especially. So the SVD, I really like it as a weapon. The equivalent that was released on the Fearless Fjord was the QBU-88. The only differences, in sort of major differences, it has a slightly higher damage. Like, it's actually marginal, the increase in damage that they gave it, because it's essentially the same weapon. It's got slightly higher recoil, because the recoil is important with these semi-automatic weapons, but you can get yourself a grip on the QBU-88, so you can attach a vertical or a triangle grip, and this will help keep that recoil in check. A fully stocked QBU-88 is a very strong weapon, and again, 10 shots, up to 20 shots with that extended mag, and it is, like we said, semi-automatic, so you can spam that in scope. Comes with a default scope of a holographic, so that it is important that you try and upgrade that, because holographic are just not really ideal for a sniper rifle situation, and it has a very similar fire rate to the SVD. Just like the comparison between the AWM and the M110, they are almost identical in terms of the weapon. There are just some minor differences on the QBU-88, like that vertical grip attachment, and a slightly higher damage, like literally 2 damage. It's almost negligible, but it's slightly higher damage overall. The QBU-88 is generally considered slightly better than the SVD, but they generally do the same thing. They're just semi-automatic sniper rifles that you can spam, a lot more forgiving on something like the iPad or the phone, so it really depends on play style. I personally am a big fan of the Barrett whenever I can get it, but I will usually take a semi-automatic sniper over a bolt action, simply because it gives me a bit more flexibility. The next is the AS Val. Now, this is a hybrid between a sniper and an assault rifle. You can more or less call it a marksman rifle. It deals no damage from this, will deal a one-shot kill. Even versus a level 0 armor on the head, it's not a one-shot kill, it's 95 damage. It comes with an automatic silencer and an automatic 4x. You can't attach a scope or a front end to it at all. You can only have a mag and a cheek pad. And it is a fairly low damage weapon, but it is supposed to be a stealth weapon. It has a lot more bullets in the clip compared to the other semi-automatic rifles, and it's supposed to be one of those weapons that you spam from range, stealthed because it has a sniper, a silencer, and it's supposed to be that kind of play style. So the AS Val, I never really got on with it very well, but it is a very strong weapon if you can make use of it from range, and it is actually one of those weapons that remedies if you haven't found a good scope or a silencer. So if you can get your hands on it, it can lead to success, but obviously drops off towards the late game in terms of damage. And honestly, when you get down to closer range, I'd rather have an assault rifle with a silencer or a compensator over the AS Val. My personal favourite is the QBU-88 and then the Barrett. Both of those are excellent, but obviously very different play styles. but really up to you when it comes to sniper rifles. Do you want to have a bolt action which really demands that you hit someone in the head? Way better against static targets, but the semi-automatics, if the target is moving, especially when you're on the phone or iPad version, much more flexible. ASVAL is a very good boost to a stealth style playstyle, but again, low damage output means that you have to hit multiple shots to make it work. Alright guys, see you soon, thank you very much.